Hey guys, Chris here from Mixdown Online. I am here with Ryan from Radial. Ryan, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So what do you have for me right now?
We've got a couple of cool little boxes here for the studio. One is a real basic piece, but it's very useful. These days, people are coming out of their audio interface directly into their powered monitors and don't really have a nice quick way to change the levels or turn things up and turn things down, depending on if they're monitoring or if somebody in the back wants to hear something louder. So what we have is the SAT2. Street price is about $99. On the SAT2, and what this allows you to do is take your main mix outputs, your left and right outputs, into this box and then out to your powered speaker or your power amplifier in the studio. And then you have a nice volume control, easy access, big knob right here. You have a mono sum, so you can check your mixes for phase and things like that. You have a mute switch as well if you want to just kill it, or you have a dim function as well, so you want to just tone down the level and have things keep playing. So very cool. We have, for convenience, we have both TRS and XLR input. So most interfaces these days have the only option of TRS outputs because they just want to cram as many connections as possible and keep things compact. So very cool. So your primary use for the SAT2 would be as a little monitor controller for level control. Another thing that's very useful is if you have some sort of preamplifier or something like that. So take this out of that last scenario. Maybe you have two of these. So what's often done is a preamplifier is driven into saturation, where you're saturating the tubes or the transformers and things like that. But what that can create is a very hot level output that's going to clip the recording interface. And of course, with digital clipping, it does not sound like tape, right? We get into basically non-usable material.
Exactly, that's
right?
digital, yeah.
So what we have here is we can, with the SAT2, is that we can tame that output down. So we can take our signal, drive the preamp into saturation, have a super hot output, and then take the output of the preamplifier. You can use this as a dual mono device, so you can go just in the left in and then out to your recording interface, and then tame that level down with the master volume control.
That's cool, that's well done.
Very cool. You get the coloration, and it's completely passive, so there's no power required or anything. You just need to have your standard cables that you can have in your studio.
So it's not only made to be a monitor controller, so it's more than that.
Right, absolutely. And there's going to be other options out there too that people will think of. Anytime you need to tame a submix or something like that, you have outputs of a console, you need to go to that you're submixing down to another console, you'll be able to tame that level so that you're not overloading the inputs of that second console.
Nice, that's pretty nice. So $99.
Between $99 and $129, both these boxes.
US dollars.
That's correct.
Awesome.
Yes.
Cool, what else do you have?
We've got the Mix 2-to-1, so another passive device, so cool for the studio. What this allows you to do is take two line outputs or mic level outputs and mix them down to one. So on the back here, we've got, once again, for convenience, TRS 1/4 inch inputs. We have two XLR inputs with ground lift, so if you have line level devices that you're feeding this and you have hum and buzz caused by ground lifts, you can abate those issues but with the ground lift. And then one single output. So on the front is where you have all your controls, so you can turn on which one you want to listen to, either one, two, or both at the same time. Then you have a level control for each, so you can match the two inputs. And then you also have a phase flip here, so on channel 2. So if you have a little bit of a phasing issue, or you want to create a phasing issue, you have the 180 degrees phase flip. Or if you have a stereo output that you need to mix down, some down to mono, you can actually just bypass the level control with this recessed switch here. So you need to free up a channel on a console or something like that. You have two mics, you can come in here, you can mix that before the preamp.
That can be very practical.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
Price again?
In between $99 and $129.
Same thing as the other one.
Yeah,
awesome. Cool.
Exactly. So these guys are completely passive once again. Nice, black with gray, fits in the studio. It's just a slick looking box and very, very useful.
What about reamping?
Reamping, we have obviously, because we are the REAMP guys, we own the REAMP name, we have many different REAMP boxes, so we have passive and active versions. The REAMP, kind of where you start, is the PRORMP. Now with the PRORMP, it's a passive device, so once again, no power required. You take your line level output from your recording interface, XLR input here, ground lift again if you have any hum and buzz, and then on the output, you have an instrument level output. So here's your output level so that you can tame it so you don't overload the input of the guitar amp. And then you can take your pre-recorded clean tracks and re-record them and add new sounds, change the EQ on the amplifier, add guitar pedals and things like that. And then you would mic that amplifier up and then re-record those tracks. So say you have a track that really sounded good, the guitar tone sounded good when you're first doing all the beds, and then you're starting getting down to final mixing. You should always kind of keep a clean track of all the different instruments. That way you can take maybe a different amplifier and put that in the system. That's going to sit better in the mix that you didn't foresee in the future because it was, you did all those tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So we have the PRORMP, and then we have the active Radial X amp.
This is the big brother.
This is the big brother. This is the most popular REAMP box that we have. So it's, once again, from your audio interface, XLR, ground lift, power, so it comes with an external power supply. It's Class A, so it's going to give, with the transformer base, the passive ones are going to color the sound a little bit. This is going to give you kind of a more cleaner representation of that dry track.
I see. Okay.
Another cool thing is that you have two outputs, so you can have two amplifiers going at once, or for instance, you could have it going to one amplifier.
That's neat.
One going to a pedal board, and then DI that back into the recording system.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And then the REAMP JCR. So once again, more in the kind of the professional class like the X amp is. The REAMP JCR, custom made transformer, some filters. So very close to like what the PRORMP does, but a little bit higher quality transformer. And then you have the level control, some filters, a mute. You have a TRS input, which is very convenient on this one. 1/4 inch output or XLR input that is parallel to the TRS input.
What about price range?
Price range from about $100 up to about about $249 list.
Okay, it's pretty affordable.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thanks for stopping by.
And guys, don't forget to share, to like, and to subscribe if you're not already. All right, see you soon.